all your fault.
They faced each other 5 times and in 5 games. It was actually 2 series. TL won 2-1 on the Premier League 4, and Team Empire won 2-0 on D12. The last 20 games, Team Liquid has been 11-9, actually losing a lot recently. They're, I think, 1-5 in the last 6 games. And Team Empire is 172 games played, as I said before, and the last 20, 14-6, but looking more and more convincingly these days. So why don't we get to see the picture of the players? Because I like to see...
You say the roster,
faces.
man. The roster.
No. I want to see the faces of the people we are talking about.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, as James put it, the high school chess team.
Well, high school chess team, i.e. very, very good Dota 2 players team. Of course, we're going to have TC playing carry, Korok as solo mid, or in some cases carry too. They kind of switch it up every once in a while. Boba as a dedicated offlaner. IX Mike playing support, and of course Fluff team captain, also playing support for Liquid. Then we have Empire as well, who I think if Trance can actually, oh my goodness, it's like magic. And we've already gone over them before, but Blow Your Brain, of course, carry player, Bigos, going to be taking up the reins. Solo mid, Scandal, now the new offlaner, previous mid player for Empire, Galblack, and Silent both on support as well.
If you look at this, Silent looks like Govlak's small brother, because they have the same posture. If you look at it...
Well, we can't look at it anymore. Trance has said no. He's just said, you know what, you don't get to look at anything longer than I deem worthy.
Go to the bots after the match is done, and you check it out, because they look really similar. They have the same posture and all. Anyways, yeah. So
take us through the bands and pick someone,
yeah, it's a little bit into the band pick phase, but we started. People were here actually pretty early. We were running late anyway, so we decided to just start the game right up. So Team Liquid, since this is actually a Luxembourg server, the side that doesn't have the favorable server location gets to pick what side and what pick they get. So obviously Team Liquid opted for Dire, and they opted for first pick. So that means they're going to go ahead and first pick the Nyx Assassin. Empire answers with the Keeper of the Light and the Gyrocopter, then Queen of Pain and Nature's Prophet from TL. So we've seen that Team Liquid can be a little bit abusive with their Prophet before. Boba always plays him, gets a Midas, tremendous amounts of farm, and typically when you see that Nature's Prophet, like for example the last best of 3 we saw between QPAD and VP, they went for the mech and the urn, more of like the fighting Nature's Prophet. This one is going to be a very hard-hitting late-game Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, Boba usually likes to go for that. Going for an Orchid after the Midas most of the times, and then maybe even going for a Shadowblade if he wants to go for a more ganking lineup. But like you were saying, he likes to play very aggressive, really abuse when people don't have TPs and try and split push as much as possible, as well as going for very easy ganks if it's possible.
Empire, they're looking at Keeper of the Light, Gyrocopter, Darkseer, so that mass AoE composition we have talked about. That's kind of been flavor of the month for a while. It's starting to teeter off a bit. Teams are starting to stretch outside of those 2 particular heroes. But when you have Galblack playing on Keeper of the Light, he's always fantastic, always manages to get the damage dealt. And the Vacuum into Call Down combo, always something that's going to be very, very potent. Plus, it's really nice to have Flat Cannon in the later stages against very annoying things like Treants and being able to push into the base and whatnot. So I do think Empire's picks are still quite strong. We haven't yet seen what Team Liquid is going to use as their hard carry. Of course, they have the Nature's Prophet and the Queen of Pain, who can both kind of semi-carry, but we haven't seen what their tri-lane is going to be yet, if they're even going to be running a tri-lane, or if they want to just use the Nature's Prophet as a jungler, put maybe the Nyx Assassin with a carry top, and then potentially even pick up an offlaner here.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised, actually, from Empire's side, going for more of support ban-outs instead of going for some carry ban-outs right now, because even though Liquid needs one more support, of course, if they want to run the Nyx Assassin of support, but it's still... they're missing out on a lot of carry bans, so Team Liquid pretty much got the whole pool for themselves right now. They can pick whatever carry they want to go for, which is quite good on their side. On the other hand, Empire only needs one more support, and they're banning out all the supports as well, but they still got quite a bit open. They like to run a Naga. They might even go for that and then run the Gyro mid if they want to get even more AoE combo, but we'll have to see when they go into this last picking phase now.
Yep, Team Liquid still looking for 2 more, as are Empire, and this is one of those matchups where we've been fortunate enough to have most of the best of 3s, barring the VP where they didn't show up, go to a full 3rd game. I think this is probably going to be no exception, especially considering it's for the first place in the group. Wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. Looks like Liquid's going to be eating a bit of their reserve time here. Not quite sure what they want to take. I think that Naga would be great, as you had already mentioned. Just the ability to reset fights is really nice. Having that insane reach as well with the ultimate to be able to catch heroes in the back, like the Keeper of the Light, to be able to actually kill him, as opposed to just letting him do what he wants and get that spam illuminate off that we talked about earlier. So Team Liquid actually taking their sweet time here, not sure what they want to go for. All the supports pretty much out of the pool. A lot of the offlaners, actually, most all of them are either picked or banned at this particular point in time. So Team Liquid, they do have a lot of options left, but what carry is it going to be? And it looks like it's going to be a Luna, so their push potential gets a little bit stronger. It's a hero who does go for a BKB, so against the burst damage of a Gyrocopter, the Keeper spam, and the Darkseer, once she gets that up, she's going to be able to actually stand in those team fights, which is really, really important, because up until now, Queen of Pain, Nature's Prophet, even the Nyx, not really the most durable heroes when it comes to Team Empire's lineup.
And this pretty much means that all the heroes on Liquid side is going to hit very hard. Like we were talking about, Boba usually likes to go for that semi-carry build, and we've seen Korok on Queen of Pain being very aggressive and getting a lot of kills and a lot of farms. So the right-click damage out of Team Liquid is going to be huge right now. So they're going to look for last support to get up, but that Luna in team fights is going to bring in even more AoE to the already Sonic Wave that they have from the Queen of Pain.
It's really nice to isolate those heroes too, just being able to do whatever damage you need to immediately, just kill the Gyrocopter very, very fast, or the Darkseer, the two high-impact heroes that we're going to see inside of these team fights. So Empire, they still got 2 more to pick themselves, and they have their carry already. Looks like they're going to go ahead and pick up on Undying, so this is like no holds barred, just mass team fight coming out from the side of Empire. They do have the potential to counter push with the Keeper, be able to split push a little, but against heroes like Queen of Pain, Nature's Prophet, now a Visage, the global presence from Team Liquid is going to be a little bit better. They'll be able to actually pick fights, I think, a bit more effectively than Empire can, but when it comes to pushing, I think Liquid are going to have a hard time until they get that very necessary farm up on TC playing in that Luna, on the Queen of Pain, and on the Nature's Prophet as well. So Empire still need 1 more. They have probably their 2 supports. Not sure if that Darkseer is going to be offlane or mid just yet. Both of those heroes are still available. I actually like Darkseer quite a bit mid against Queen of Pain, just because you can outpush her very, very hard. You can still harass a little bit as Queen of Pain, get 2 points into the Shadow Strike, play relatively aggressive, but sooner or later, that Darkseer is going to be able to push you out, and it looks like it's going to be a Clinks.
Yeah, and like you were saying, the Darkseer mid is actually quite nice, but it looks like Vigos actually might go for that since Scandal picks up the Clink, so he'll most likely go for that safe lane, and we're going to see that Darkseer mid like we were talking about. And I do like the thing where you said that you can push out the lane, because that opens up, since the Radiant, he's going to be able to stack the easy camp, go in and get even more farm in there to either rush up a very fast mech or just go into Arcane Boots Vanguard, something along those lines to be able to help out his team a lot more. But I do like the Visage pick though for Team Liquid. Just having the aura from Luna as well, and then the split push potential, sending the familiars together with Nature's Prophet is going to be very strong for split pushing. So we'll see really how this game goes, because Clinks, last pick, very good pick off hero, and if he finds Boba in a bad position, that's going to be quite a dead Nature's Prophet as soon as he gets his Orchid up.
I think a lot of this game is going to boil down to how much influence Scandal can have, as you had said. Can he get the Orchid fast? Can he actually pressure heroes like Korok? IX Mike is actually going to be playing a support Nyx, so it's not going to be anything mid like that. I don't think we were expecting it, but in the 1v1, the Darkseer versus Queen of Pain, I have to give Vigos a little bit of an advantage here, just because even as a melee hero, he can still get the free XP. He can get that small camp, as you had mentioned earlier. So Empire, looks like they're walking up towards top lane. This could potentially be an aggressive tri-lane, and this is, I wouldn't say questionable, but just the AoE residual damage they're going to have with the K-Spam, Zombies, Flat Cannon, Illuminate, they can actually push even a Luna off the lane pretty effectively. Luna's range isn't the greatest. She's actually not very far at all, in fact, so she puts herself a little bit more in a vulnerable position than most range heroes would, and Empire might be looking to exploit that. At the same time, we can see Liquid, they've already started rotating. It looks like Korok is starting to hover a little bit around mid, and TC's making his way bottom, so apparently a tri-lane dodge here from Team Liquid. Looks like they want no part of Empire's potential aggressive tri-lane.
I kind of like the decision of a tri-lane dodge here, because TC is most likely going to be able to farm up some. Of course, the Clinks should be able to orb walk the Luna out of the lane, but it's not going to be impossible for TC to get some farm as well as experience, and they have sentries brought down, so they should be able to harass Scandal quite a bit as well. And like you were saying, the aggressive tri-lane of Empire is very strong. It got a lot of sustain, as well as having the Chakra Magic for the Undying to be able to spam out that decay and just harass if it would have been a tri-lane against them. It's just so huge. So they got a lot of spam for that aggressive tri-lane, and having Boba there instead, who can move into the jungle, is going to help them out quite a bit.
So it is going to be Vigos taking on Korok here. in the middle lane. And Korok doing a really nice job of denying so far. He's actually gotten 3 out of the first 4, so that's really, really nice for him. But Darkseer is still going to be getting some experience, and once he gets to like level 5, that's when you really start seeing Korok suffer. Sure, he's not going to die necessarily because he has that blink, but he'll just be forced behind his tower to CS most of the time. Tri-lane against Scandal here. They definitely don't want Clinks to get that start. They were really assuming that Liquid is going to be running a defensive lane, especially with something like a Luna. But I do like this choice by Liquid. It allows them to pressure the tower a little bit faster. He's already got a point into that aura, so he's hitting for 14 more damage. And then you have Bulba in the top lane who can pull the creeps away with his treants. He can also creep pull, and he can just straight up jungle if he needs to. So he can defend this tower much more effectively, I would say, than a lot of heroes would in the same situation.
Yeah, and we see rotation actually coming out from Goldblack, moving down with the Undying to be able to help support him out a bit, or support Scandal a bit down in bottom lane. But even though this is one of the biggest things...
Bottom lane, Gobblat taking quite a bit of damage. There's a Lucent Beam as well. Can they actually get this? Decay comes off, gives him quite a bit of HP, and that's going to be enough to get him away. That Decay, man, he's got 5 stacks on right now. Level 1, 1,000 health, and he barely escapes death. Great
3-man Decay there, saving him. But like I was going to point out is that the Darkseer mid, with just like we were talking about, being able to push the lane, even though Korok is doing a very good job denying, he actually got 7 denies right now. Like we were saying, Vigos is going to be able to move into the jungle and farm the small camp if he wants to, so he's not going to fall too far behind, and that's one of the biggest things why I like Darkseer mid quite a bit, just because you don't really fall off even if you get denied, because you can still farm the jungle a bit, and you can send someone else to go mid and just get some experience.
And that's also a hero that is very likely to go for an early game mech, which I feel like Team Liquid's lineup is lacking here a bit. They could have Bulba go for the mech, but that is so uncommon on him, like we were talking about during the draft. He loves to go for the Midas, he loves the Orchid, he loves the Shadow Blade. He doesn't really go for mech. He leaves that to things like against Visage, or maybe even IX Mike in this case if he manages to get the farm. But we'll see what itemization choices that Vigas actually makes here. In the meantime, he's going to be able to get a rune, and top lane going pretty much as expected, but the supports from Empire have actually completely abandoned the top lane. So instead of it just being a Nature's Prophet versus a tri-lane, now it's a tri-lane versus tri-lane, but Empire is in their defensive position now in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and Gyro's soloing up against the Prophet up in top. But like we were saying, Liquid doesn't really have a hero that goes for a mech, at least not fast. I mean, you can get it on the Visage or on the Nyx, like you were saying, but it's still... They kind of need it for the fights, especially with... the Illuminate spam gonna come out.
Gonna be taking quite a bit of damage. Soul Assumption goes off and actually gets the kill. Gobblack going for Fluff. Illuminate's gonna hit in the back. Are they actually gonna be able to get him? It doesn't look like it. We're gonna see probably Gobblack drop here too. That's gonna be a kill for TC. Fluff will turn around for another Soul Assumption. He almost has enough mana for it. Illuminate is going to pick off TC with help of Scandal. And Fluff just living life on the edge. That Tango actually pretty much just saved his life. So, a 2-for-1 trade. Liquid come a little bit ahead. But TC still ends up forfeiting his life there, and Liquid also get first blood.
Though, like you were saying, Scandal went down, so it's still a carry for a carry, which is good, but Liquid having one more kill, of course, but Scandal managing to come back and get some experience in gold. So a good trade, and they're actually going on Scandal once again.
Yeah, Sentry in the lane. Scandal not going to be able to make it away. Soul Assumption just does so much damage. Even at this early phase, Fluff getting all the damage output that he needs. He's got level 2 now, so that means he can have 4 souls instead of 3, which means even more potential damage coming the way of Scandal in these next couple of engagements. And really, this rotation of the tri-lane from Empire doesn't really seem to be working out for them. They want the Clinks to be able to get farmed, but ultimately what's happened is it gives him a false sense of security. He says, okay, now I have 3 heroes, maybe I can stand in the lane and farm, but the burst of Liquid is just too powerful.
Yeah, the Nyx Assassin in the Visage is so much damage, and even though they have the Keeper of the Light that can illuminate, the cast time on it is just so damn long, so they should be able to pick up Scandal before. And even if the illuminate hits, it's just going to stack up max souls on the Visage, so he's going to do even more damage.
Keeper of the Light going to get impaled here. Soul Assumption is going to go off, and just look at how much damage that is. He's actually going to get Grave Chilled. The Soul Rep not going to be enough to save him. Fluff already on a killing spree at 5 minutes in. It's 1-4. IX Mike pops the Carapace, try and run back to the tier 1. Gobblack will end up getting stunned out. Decay goes off, but Scandal is not close enough. The Decay is actually still on cooldown, and Scandal can't even get the kill. Liquid just completely rolling over the tri-lane of Empire right now. Empire, though, they have a pretty large creep wave. They're going to try to apply some pressure to the tower, I would guess, and it does give Scandal a little bit of room to farm. So, everything said and done, I mean, this bottom lane is just not going well at all. Vigas being chased away by Korok. Korok blinks in, throws at the Shadow Strike. That is only level 1 Surge, so Vigas could be in a bit of trouble. Korok does have enough mana to throw out the ulti. Will he do so? Yes, he does. And he gets the kill on Vigas. So even the lane that we thought was going to win from Empire isn't even going that well right now.
Yeah, this game is really going in the favor of Liquid right now. Even though Blow Your Brain is actually free farming up top, and he's been able to force Bulba into the jungle. Bulba being the knight quite hard, as well as having the flat cannon harassment coming out from the gyrocopter. It's very hard to stay in a lane, especially when you're not a hero that usually goes for Tranquil Boots. Since Tranquil will help you sustain lane, it's very hard to stand up against the gyro that just flat cannon harasses. So Empire still got one lane that goes in their favor, but losing both mid and their tri-lane and crippling the Clinks so much right now is really hard.
That's not where you want to be, Keeper. Okay, looks like he will be okay. But that was living life on the edge. If Korok had even a little bit more mana, I think he probably would have went for that. So, as like you were saying, the only lane that Empire really have is top. So we'll see how well this gyrocopter can actually carry them during the mid game. And bottom has pretty much been where the majority of the action has been up until this point. IX Mike actually going to be chasing Vigas away, who's running to his opponent's jungle. He's going to go ahead and surge away. It is nighttime. Korok's going to spot him out again. Only level 1 Surge. Vigas being chased down here pretty heavily. Are they actually going to be able to kill him? Bulba is not really paying attention at the moment. Okay, here he comes. Now he's going to come around. There are no tangos, by the way, on Vigas, so this Sprout is going to hold him in place. And, oh, got the vacuum, so... Call down coming out from Blow Your Brain. Are they going to be able to turn this around, doing quite a bit of damage to Bulba? Will he end up getting the kill? No, the Impale comes out from IX Mike and gets the mana burn, so everybody gets away completely unscathed. But they did waste quite a bit of time. I mean, that was 2 people chasing Vigas around the map for, what, the better part of a minute and a half right there?
Yeah, so Empire really being able to pull them away. And nighttime helping out Bulba, being able to survive, not getting hit by that last flat cannon shot.
TC doing what he can to kind of stem the tide here bottom, as the supports have decided to just leave him alone for the moment. He's sitting at 31 and 7. He's got a kill, so he's doing very, very well. Highest creep score right now on the side of Liquid. And then, of course, following him is Korok. The highest in the game still is going to be that gyrocopter, so he's doing a really, really nice job in top lane. Blow Your Brain. Probably going to be making a drum or something like that. He does already pick up the circlet, and we're going to see a kill. And looks like Korok manages to pick off the Undying, so bottom lane, even more action happening now, currently 1-6 in favor of Team Liquid.
Yep. And yeah, I do wonder what Blow Your Brain is gonna go for here. He usually likes to go for that Shadow Blade, but Drums isn't a bad choice, giving him some extra HP as well as mana to be able to get his spells out a lot more, as well as some extra movement speed. Isn't always bad to have, as we're gonna see Keeper of the Light actually farming up the jungle a bit, but right now game is going kind of slow. Liquid getting some really good pickoff kills, but other than that, it's just people trying to farm up a bit most of it.
Oh, Scandal gonna get dove here. Immediate Queen of Pain ulti onto Scandal. He gets so ripped up. That was actually a little bit too close for comfort, I think, on the side of Scandal. And I don't think TC actually threw out a Lucent Beam. They might have been able to kill him there, but maybe a bit of miscoordination. He actually still has quite a bit of mana, so there's definitely no way he threw out a nuke at all. But in the meantime, IX Mike going to throw out Impale onto Blow Your Brain. He's going to pop the Carapace just to make sure the call down actually would kill him instead. Bulba and IX Mike still take a pretty reasonable amount of damage, but not going to be able to stand. And now TC makes a transition top to be able to farm.
Yep, and he's pretty much going to be able to get free farm up here since Bulba can go into the jungle right now. He's level 7, so he got level 4 Nature's Call. Won't have any problem whatsoever to farm up the jungle. Nature's Prophet, usually a very slow jungler, the early levels, just because Nature's Call doesn't give you that many treants, but right now, being able to get those 5 treants, should be able to get his Midas up quite fast. But on the other hand, this gives quite a lot of room to Scandal to be able to free farm a bit.
We'll see if he's able to take advantage of that. This is the point in the game where the fastest Orchids are almost done, and the fact that he has had to go for treads basically just because of how much he's been harassed and how many times he's died is really put him behind. Typically Clinks is the hero that you pick when you want him to have a gigantic influence in the mid game. You want the Orchid to be out, get those solo kills, or at the very least pressure the other team, and that just really hasn't been seen. But Empire realizes that the majority of the supports, and in fact TC, have all completely abandoned bottom lane, so they're going to go ahead and push into the tier 1.
Yep. And Fluff is here to defend. He's actually level 6, so got those familiars up, and he should be able to pretty much solo kill whatever supports he finds if he wants to. He goes managing to get the haste rune, denying it from Korok.
And they're not going to continue to chase either. Oh, nice deny by Fluff. Takes away what little gold Empire, or at the very least Scandal, would have gotten from the situation. Medallion picked up on the Visage as well, so they're going for more of the bursty-oriented kind of style, and I like that, because Familiars fully charged with a Medallion, they do a ridiculous amount of burst. It allows you to get your Soul Assumption out that much faster, and then you have Queen of Pain AoEs as well, and the Familiars also smoked up here, potentially looking to kill Vigas, but they do have a Sentry here, and they also have a Ward. Oh, they're actually going to go on him anyway. Vigas might be getting caught here. Double Familiar stun, and the probably unnecessary Queen of Pain ulti, but he did end up popping his haste rune. So not only does he die, but he doesn't have the haste rune for when he comes back up.
Great usage there of the Familiar stuns, really helping that fight out. And just a good, really good pick off of Vigos. He's actually died twice right now, so he's being shut down quite a bit on that Darkseer, which hurts him. He's not going to be able to get that mechanism up as fast as he wants to. Though Darkseer, being a very fast jungler, should be able to get back not too slow.
We will see as time goes on how he's able to recover, and Scandal is being left alone. We had mentioned that before, but it is really important to note that if he gets an Orchid, even in the next 10 minutes, it's still not going to have nearly the same impact as it would have if he had already had it, or even been close to having it at this stage. Empire doing a little bit of pressuring mid. They're trying to force Korok off the wave. He actually gets vacuumed back into an Ion Shell creep, and he's taking a pretty reasonable amount of damage. Has to be a little bit careful, but TC opted to go for treads, opted to go for the lifesteal, so he's going to be getting a help of the Dominator, and he's going for that pure late game build. Surge out from Vigas. They do know that IX Mike is here. Blinding Light also goes out, so no Vendetta, or well, I guess he could potentially land it, but it's going to be very difficult. Zombie's chasing Fluff right now. He gets Soul Ripped. Tower and the Familiar is going to be able to help him survive. More Illuminates coming out. Not going to make contact with anything. Invisibility picked up by Korok in the meantime. And now he's going to try to scout things out. But again, it was pretty obvious that he walked past a ward. Hopefully he doesn't walk back in and just die. Bulba and TC also applying pressure to this top tier 1, as a tier 1 mid is being pressured by Empire.
Yeah, I really like this decision from Empire. Try and create more and more room for Scandal to be able to help him to farm up right now.
Vigas getting caught once again. There's the call down. Actually doesn't hit anyone at all. The vacuum actually doesn't hit anyone either. And now Vigas has to run away. Eats a Lucent Beam. TC trying to chase him down. One more auto attack will get the kill. Now 1-9. And just as we were talking about how Empire really had to go for a tower there, not only did they lose a tower of their own, they're completely unable to push mid, and Vigas dies again.
Yeah, Darkseer really being shut down right now, as we actually see Silent DCing from the game, so we're going to see a pause, as it looks like Liquid is actually moving into Roche, and this should be quite a fast Roche TC. He's level 9 right now, got 2 levels into the aura, as well as, like we were saying, they have the Medallion up, and the Familiars, of course, of Fluff, so that Roshan should be very easy for them. Cooldowns on cooldown, as well as Darkseer being killed. They can't really contest this, Empire, right now.
Empire definitely in a rough spot. They do still have Klinks actually completely recovered at this stage. He's got his Death Pact. He's got 1,200, almost 1,300 gold in addition to his 2 Sages masks. So he's working his way towards his Oblivion Staffs. He's going to have his Orchid still reasonably fast, I would say, but you can see the last team fight, the tower going down, that really impacted Empire's game plan. They didn't want to lose Vigas so many times. They didn't want to lose that tower for nothing. They wanted to try to go at least 1 for 1. It didn't end up working out for them. And the more map control you give Liquid, they're a team who can exploit it. They have highly mobile heroes. They have a Nature's Prophet. You know that you're going to be getting split pushed at some stage in the game. I feel as though Empire's game plan was to already start to move around, start to dominate the map, abuse the fact that they wanted Scandal to have free farm, but it just didn't happen. I don't know if moving the supports necessarily was the greatest idea. Why not just move Scandal instead? I mean, ultimately, TC did end up going back top, but that was only after the supports had left him alone in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I felt like they could have almost saved the supports up and top, go for an early Tombstone and just put it behind the tower, go for a fast push of that tier 1 tower, because even though Boba can pull the creeps away, they should be able to get that tower fairly easy, so they could have been able to open up a bit more room, forcing the supports of Liquid away to open up more room for Scandal. And Scandal most likely would have played a bit more safe instead of having that false sense of security like you were talking about.
Well, Roshan now goes the way of Liquid, as if enough things weren't already going in their favor. Empire definitely struggling here in game number 1. And TC manages to secure himself his Helm of the Dominator. He's, of course, going to be wielding the Aegis along with a new bot Ring of Aquila and a Magic Wand. So he's got pretty much all the early game stuff that he needs. And apparently that is something that I didn't know. I actually didn't know that. And now I have learned something. So Liquid looking pretty darn good at the moment. They actually have Dust picked up too, so they look like they want to try to go for Scandal, maybe try to find him in the woods or something. But this is one thing that a Clinks can do very, very well. Just be able to farm the woods and not be caught, even with Skeleton Walk maxed out, or even 3 ranks into it. It's quite fast. I think it's 33% move speed, so he can pretty much get away from any gank that comes his way. We saw the Gyrocopter actually farming up some Ancients too, and Vigos manages to secure himself a double damage. So I'm kind of curious as to what Bully Brain's going to go for. And hold on, looks like Nature's Prophet going to be very unhappy here in the bottom lane. Soul Assumption enough to get the kill. So Fluff now on a dominating streak, and Liquid looking like they want to try to push into the tier 1. Godblack is already down here, but it's just a solo Undying, and I seriously doubt he'll be able to stop this push alone.
Yeah, they need pretty much everybody right here. But I believe Scandal actually TP'd out to top lane instead to farm, so they should just sack this tower right now. I don't think the Tombstone is going to be enough. They got enough range heroes to nuke it down fast enough as Boba actually TP's out, but looks like Mike and Fluff might want to try and go for this.
Oh, Vigos just gets totally annihilated by the Scream and the Sonic Wave. TC threw out the Lucent Beam. The Shadow Strike was there. He did get the tower, so unlike the last couple of deaths, that one actually had some meaning behind it, but still probably not the most ideal exchange, especially considering that Liquid are still pressuring this bottom tier 1. Bulba's actually going to make his way back to the lane. They had the Familiars. Treants are now out, and he did actually go for a mech. This is one of the first times I've ever seen him go for a mech. Like, it's always Midas into Shadow Blade or into Orchid, and then Shadow Blade or Orchid, depending on what he gets first.
Yeah, he always wants to go for that really, really fast.
Scandal. No mana in the top lane. Eats a Shadow Strike. IX Mike with the mana burn, and that's going to be another kill coming out on the side of Liquid. Now 1-12. It's only 16 minutes in, and Scandal's actually in the highest last hitters right now. He's got 91 CS. His net worth is actually probably still quite high, given his start. And he's got the 2 Oblivion stats picked up. So yeah, he's actually still neck and neck with even Korok, Nature's Prophet, and TC. But as we say that, we also run into a different problem. He's actually the same net worth as 3 people who are actually higher than him, and they're all on the other team.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem, as well as Korok actually working his way toward an Orchid. So Boba going for that fast mech instead, and then allowing the Orchid to go the way of Korok first. Most likely, we will see either a Shadow Blade or an Orchid coming out of Boba as well, but right now the game is really going in the favor of Liquid. Even though Scandal's been able to recover quite hard from the bad start he had, it's still... I wonder if he's going to be able to get some kills once he gets his Orchid, because right now, Liquid can pretty much start firemanning if they want to.
They definitely can. Undying. In the meantime, he's going to secure himself an urn, and he's only level 6, so Godblack necessarily hasn't had the best game in the world, but he's not doing terribly either. In comparison to Visage, though, he's level 9. Bulba's almost level 11, and Fluff actually has a ring of health on him, so maybe he's going to be the one securing the pipe. Bulba, of course, we already talked about. He has that mech. He has the Midas. He's got another 1,100 gold. They're looking for a kill. Scandal comes down here, but they don't have IX Mike, and I feel like he is pretty necessary if they want to try to pick off Scandal. They need the extra burst damage. Familiar's going to be scouting out the woods, are getting into a better position, I should say. As IX Mike has now made the transition to bottom lane, so he TP'd. He will be spotted by the lane ward of Empire, so they should definitely know that he is coming down here. So he popped his Vendetta around the time he was running past it, so maybe he actually didn't get seen. But it doesn't look like Empire cared too much. They are sitting as 5 right now in the middle lane.
Yeah, as we see, TC actually cleared out the Ancient stacks. Fluff stacked up the Ancient stacks.
Suddenly music.
And it's like, it's a recent back that suddenly music appears. And it's really, really loud. You have to go and either turn the volume down or just keep going with the music.
Well, I was just a bit surprised.
Fine.
But yeah, like I was saying, Fluff actually stacked those Ancients 2 or 3 times, so that's one of the biggest reasons why TC went for that Helm of the Dominator, not just getting the lifesteal, but being able to get even more farm. And oh, this music really just came out of nowhere.
It is really good. It's like mood music, and Queen of Pain already has a Ghost Scepter as the countermeasure to what Scandal's going to be trying to do here. And I really like that, because Korok realizes he's going to be one of the high priority targets. Fluff going to be hitting a homing missile in bottom lane. But as soon as you use the Orchid on Korok, all he has to do is pop that, and the damage output is pretty much completely negated. They're relying pretty heavily right now on Clinks with his auto attacks, maybe a flat cannon, of course, and the call down, and basically just those 2 heroes to do the majority of their damage. Sure, Illuminates are going to be nice. A Vacuum would be nice if it's going to be there, but the movement, and speaking of Liquid, has actually been quite a bit better. As this, oh, jeez. Zombie just walks right into a very loud yell. Apparently that is the counter to zombies. If there's ever an apocalypse, you just scream really loud, and apparently zombies will die. So he actually dropped the tombstone to break the trees, which is pretty clever, but still Liquid pulling ahead even more in terms of kills.
Yeah, they're really getting good pick-off kills here, and they're moving together as 2 and 2 or 3 and 3 or 3 and 2, I guess. But it really helps them out because Scandal can't really find any good pickoffs. He's going to be able to see TC here or IX Mike. IX Mike actually moving away, so he should be able to get caught out here.
Oh, Orchid comes out, 1-2 shots, he needs one more. I don't think the Orchid damage is going to be enough. IX Mike trying to run away. He actually gets decayed, puts the Carapace out, will be able to... Oh no, the Carapace just ended as the auto attack hit him. Korok comes in, doesn't have his ultimate this time. TC's there to back him up though. Shadow Strike should be more than enough. And Scandal trying to do what damage he can. Gonna see an ultimate pop by TC, pretty much does a whole lot of nothing, hits a bunch of creeps. Actually did hit Scandal once, and Fluff throws out a Soul Assumption. TC ultimately gets the kill. Hood now finished on Visage, so he is going for that pipe. But yeah, I mean, Empire just kind of getting picked apart every which way right now. It's 2-15, sure. They're not really that far behind in terms of farm, but they are definitely not doing so well in the map control department.
Yeah, and if you actually look at the graphs, experience is almost 12k right now, so they're falling quite a bit behind, and it's very hard when you get into this position because the two heroes that got farm on your team is Gyrocopter and Gyrocopter and Clinks. Of course, it's good to have farm on them, but on the other hand, Liquid got farm on every hero. They got farm on their supports as well. Like you were saying, Hood up on the Visage, and that's just gonna make him even more tankier to be able to get the Soul Assumption up more and more for every fight.
Well, I don't think they can even burst Fluff down if they wanted to. If he gets something like a Ghost Scepter, even if he wants to finish the pipe, then he can do that too. The options are basically endless. TC has a Manta done. Bigos going to be surging here mid. He did get Shadow Strike used on him, but Korok actually has his Orchid completely done. He's going to go back in on Bigos. Surge is going to be up in a couple of seconds. Korok actually gets Mana Leaked. Needs to be pretty careful about how he wants to do this. 1 second left on the blink. He should be able to blink, yep, to the other side of the river. And he will be fine, but TC in the meantime gets another kill on Scandal with the help of the rest of his team. So Scandal, 2 and 5 right now. He's just dying all over the place. And Empire really aren't able to make anything happen. Oh, is IX Mike going to be able to stop the TP? He will. Vigos might actually... No, he's going to be fine, but he stopped the TP, which is pretty much annoying enough in itself. The tier 2 bottom actually dies. So another kill going the way of Liquid, another tower, and Empire have no answer for it.
Yeah, right now they're pretty much just running around as 4, and then Scandal trying to get pick-off kills or trying to farm a bit, and it's not really helping them because their team is kind of like, we need to take some good fights because they got so much big AoE. They got the Vacuum, Colon combo, as well as Illuminate and a Tombstone to be able to survive or sustain in team fights. But Liquid right now just got so much burst and so much farm on their heroes that it's going to be very hard for Empire to be able to get some pick-off kills.
I just like the fact that Liquid is pressuring pretty much solely the Clinks all the time, because if you're pressuring the Clinks, you know that he can't sneak up on you. You're basically walking to him, and since Scandal is so far behind right now, he got his Orchid pretty darn fast considering the circumstances, but now he has just been dying over and over again. You can see TSC's level 16, Korok's 15, and the Clinks is only level 12, so he definitely has some more catching up to do. He really needs a BKB, and that's what hurts him the most. Clinks is one of those heroes where going for a BKB doesn't hurt him so much, but Bigos going to get caught here. Vacuums Korok and Bull, but Sprout's actually going to block him in place. Orchid's still there. Mech is popped. Is it going to be enough to keep him alive? Nope, it won't be. But Bulba and the back is going to be dying to, looks like Goblak. Scandal throwing out quite a bit of auto attacks of his own. Ghost Scepter popped now by Korok. He'll be fine. Zombie taken out by TC. And now Empire retreating back to their side of the map. This time they give away a hero, but at the very least they get something for it. Not necessarily anything huge. As we can see the Tombstone given away for more free gold to Liquid. But the lead is just going to get worse and worse. They need to take a really, really nice team fight. Scandal going to go for a creep here. And potentially look for a pick-off on IX Mike if they manage to spot him. I don't know if they actually see him or not. It is nighttime, so all the wards basically right now are on the side of Liquid, so he should be okay.
Yeah, Roshan up right now, as it looks like TC actually picked up an Eagle Song, so he's going to go for that Butterfly, and I don't really know how they're going to be able to kill him. They pretty much can't kill him in team fights as soon as he gets that Butterfly out, because Scandal's farm being so bad right now, he's being forced to go for a BKB first, so he's not going to be able to get that MKB up, which means that he's not going to be able to hit the Luna no matter what. And Gyrocopter
Oh man, that is a very, very sad Keeper of the Light. The cooldown's going to be there. IX Mike taking a little bit of damage. Blade Brain pops the BKB. He's going in. He's got Flat Cannon, but he just doesn't really do any damage. And now he's decided, yeah, I should just go ahead and teleport out. TC chasing down Big Ass and Goblak in the back. There's the Orchid. Korok comes in. And the Eclipse, just for good measure. It's going to be a very, very dead Darkseer. Scandal looking for a pick-off here on TC, potentially, but he needs his team. And soon he realizes that Goblak is off on his own, being chased down by 3 members of Liquid. And IX Mike will end up dying in the crossfire to the Orchid damage eventually. There we go. So Scandal gets a kill on him, but Blade Brain could be dying here. Doesn't have a BKB. Soul Assumption, and goodbye. Scandal caught in trees. Korok pops the Ghost Scepter, throws out the Spite Shadow Strike, and I wouldn't even be surprised to see Empire call it GG soon, because it's 4-22. It's 25 minutes in. This game has pretty much been all Liquid from the start.
Yeah, and there's a GG. They just realized it's too hard at this point, because the support's got more or equal farm to the carries that you need to be able to get the game back. Like, the farm you need on your carries is pretty much equal to the support. So it's a reasonable GG, and like you were saying, Liquid, the whole game was just Liquid's game.
The thing I really liked about their draft is they put their lane in an aggressive position, totally caught Empire off guard. I don't think they were expecting that, and I also don't think they were expecting just the burst that could come out from that lane. If you think about it, it's 4 nukes. You have the Mana Burn, you have the Impale, Soul Assumption, and Lucent Beam. 3 very high damage single target nukes. So even at level 3, they were able to kill Scandal from like 100% health. If he gets stunned, he is 100% dead. That's the kind of pressure that Liquid was able to bring to bear. And since the supports actually rotated late, they were under-leveled. They didn't really have anything. And the top lane, Bulba still got to farm. Even against a tri lane, he just sat in the jungle. He still got stuff done. He was able to use his treants to stop the push of Empire. I feel like this was a little bit of an outdraft, maybe a little bit of outlaning, but certainly it was pretty much Liquid from the get-go. So, of course, we are joined once again by Bruno and Scriff. And what do you guys think?
Well, it all came down to, I think, Scandal underestimating the damage that Soul Assumption can do at level 1 and level 2. Because that skill